Zootopia 2 has come home to Disney+.
Let's go!
Get ready for a new case.
We're gonna crack this case and prove we're the greatest partners of all time!
New friends.
You are... Gary the Snake. And your last name? The Snake.
Dream team.
And new habitats.
Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
You can watch the record-breaking phenomenon at home.
You're clearly working it.
Zootopia 2, now available on Disney Plus, rated PG.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistant's assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Cinema. It's a world of illusion, of escape, of transformation. But what happens when the lines between fantasy and reality blur? When the price of beauty is more than skin deep? Music swells. Join us as we delve into the mind of Coralie Fargeat, the visionary...
I thought you were talking about your food documentary again.
...director who challenges conventions and pushes boundaries, from the visceral revenge to the chilling body horror of The Substance. Hello and welcome to episode 434 of the Filmmakers Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk
The filmmaking.
from indie film to studio films to high-end TV and...
Everything in between.
I thought you were going to do another French.
No, hang on, let me do it in. Let me do it in French actually quickly. Okay. Oh fucking hell, that's a classic.
I'm keeping all this.
And tout ce qu'il y a entre les deux. Fucking hell, that was a lot harder than I thought it was going to. Everything in between.
How to get them made, how to make them, and how to try not to.
Hang on.
Royale with cheese.
Yeah. Royalement foulé en l'air.
There we go. Welcome to this week's episode. The reason why Dom is doing that in French, there is no reason.
There is no reason. Well, Coralie's French, as far as I'm aware.
Yes. Wait, we haven't announced her yet. Is because we have on the director, Coralie Fargeat, the wonderful French director who has made not only Revenge, but now The Substance, of which Demi Moore won a Golden Globe for it last night. How exciting.
Should I do the French version of that for you?
I'd love you to.
Okay.
Go for
it. Give me a second.
I'm excited.
Sur le podcast de cinéaste de cette semaine, nous avons le tour de force François de Coralie Fargeat. It's Francais, it's not Francois. Thinking of Francois Dillinger from...
if there's any French people listening, I apologise.
Youth in Revolt.
I apologise.
There we go.
Very well done. Very well done, said your French teacher as you read it off El Tricolore.
Yes.
I'm Giles Alderson. Who are you? French
Dom
speaker.
Lenoir.
Yay! Oh, it's a delight to have you back. Not you, the listeners.
Les idiots.
After the new year. Les idiots. We are delighted to welcome Coralie Fargeat. She is an incredible filmmaker bursting onto the scene, and it's incredible to get a movie
Literally
like
bursting
this.
onto the scene.
Literally body bursting. It's the Substance is an incredible body horror movie.
I reckon it's Fargeat, by the way.
Fargeat.
I'm just going to throw that out there for the translation.
How did you change? What's the difference pronunciation between mine and yours?
Yours is Fargeat, which doesn't sound very French.
I don't have a T. Fargeat.
Fargeat.
I think it was exactly
Fargeat.
Yeah.
That actually sounds French.
Yes, it sounds
Fargeat sounds like someone who's just taken their very first French lesson, like mispronouncing something in French.
Hello, I'm Caroline Fargeat. Yeah. From Yorkshire. Hiya.
Yeah.
I'm Giles Alderson. We've done that. What do we talk about?
Hang on. We've got it in. how to pronounce it. Hang on.
Gilles Aldesson.
Coralie Fargeat.
I was right. It's Fargeat.
Coralie Fargeat.
I said Fargeat, unless I
No,
said
you said
Fargeat. Did I? What an
You don't
idiot.
pronounce the T, Giles. You don't
I'm
pronounce
an idiot. I didn't mean to. My missus is French as well, so that's pretty stupid of me. Yeah, well, she speaks fluent French.
Is she Golden Globe nominated?
She's, to me, she is. To me,
Oh,
she
there
is.
we go. That's a save. That's a save. That's a big save.
What do we talk about with Coralie Fargeat, Dom?
We talk about never giving up. We
Yes.
talk about how risky the project seemed and how many people refused it going forward. Being like a dog with a bone in terms of just not, being utterly relentless to getting it made. And also not compromising on how intense and visceral it was going to be.
Yeah, she also talks about repeating themes and why that's important and why it's important to get your views and thoughts across, and also about getting the cast that you want. And this cast is incredible. It stars Demi Moore, as we've already mentioned, who won the Golden Globe last night, but it also stars Margaret Qualley and Dennis Quaid. I would say that Margaret Qualley is equally as stunning in this film as Demi Moore. Just beautiful performances. Our film topic of the week, which we will go into after the interview, is going to be, is horror movies or body horrors, are they now Oscar worthy? Are they award worthy? Has this what's happened? Has there been a big change in the last couple of years where horror has stepped to the forefront and it's become award bait? It's an exciting one to discuss.
This is true.
It is true. And obviously I've mentioned it on the last couple of episodes, but if you've not listened, because this is your first one back of the new year, Happy New Year, by the way, my documentary that I've made with Dan Richardson, Food for Thought, is having its world premiere on the 24th of January at the Royal Geographical Society in London. And if you're around, I'd love you to come along. Tickets for it, all the profits are going to animal charities, so it's going for good causes as well. So if you're around, link to that is on the 24th. There's trailer links
also if you're a
as well
square.
if you haven't seen them. Yes. Right, let's get back to this. This is with Coralie Fargeat and her film The
Fargeat.
Substance
Coralie Fargeat.
is well, I can't help it. It's just the northern in me.
I gotta pronounce my T's.
I'm gonna describe what the film's about. We'll get to the interview. On the other side of that, me and Dom will dissect and go into our film topic of the week and also our film term of the week. A fun chapter. So, Demi Moore, she plays Elisabeth Sparkle. She's a fading Hollywood star. She loses her job pretty much due to age, I'd say. Desperate to reclaim her youth and fame, she turns to a mysterious black market drug called the Substance. And this drug promises to create a younger, more perfect version of herself. It takes a dark turn as the two versions struggle for dominance, and the side effects of that drug are increasingly horrific. It's an incredible movie. It's hugely worth a watch. We'll see you at the other side.
Hey, Coralie.
Hey, hi everyone.
Hello. How are you doing?
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Oh, it's such a pleasure to chat to you, Coralie. Oh, what a delight.
You. Thank you so much.
The Substance is incredible. I love this movie. It's right up my street. View where it makes you feel. You must be delighted with the response. It's been incredible.
Yes, really the response is so great to see and to hear and to read everywhere. And the fact that, yes, in all the different countries, it's been so well, sparked so many discussions, so many intense responses with the audience, and the number of messages that I receive is just insane. So yes, that's really the best for a filmmaker, to feel that you've hit something and that there is your movie has really reached the audience. That's so great to feel.
It's such a bold and impressive but vibrant film. But then, there's a lot of body horror. I don't think a lot of audience are ready for it. Were you sort of concerned how people would take it in the sort of the lead up to this mass reaction?
I mean, like, to me, I never asked myself that question because when I do a film, I really do it with a whole sincerity of the way I want to express myself at that moment with that story. And especially for this story, I knew that for me, the right way to express it was with the amount of violence that I have been feeling regarding those themes. And so for me, that was the 100% right and sincere way to express it. And I think that's what, in the end, kind of reaches the audience. And anyway, of course, when you're making a film, your movie is never going to be for everyone. Like there will always be people who are going to like it, not like it. And especially when you do kind of a bold original film, it's going to provoke like intense reactions. And I'm super happy about that. But to me, like, I think it's really the sincerity of the process that kind of sparked that reaction from the audience. And yeah, like you know that with those kind of movie, like, some people, it's not going to be their cup of tea, like and so that some people are going to have a really aggressive reaction with it, which I think is also part of what the movie deals about. There is also people who are not going to understand it. But like, to me, the fact that many people like got to enjoys the fun ride, the entertaining part of the movie, and B, really resonated with the themes and the number of discussion that it sparked about what the movie is about is incredibly rewarding, because to me that was the main goal with this movie. It was a big scream about what I wanted to say on those issues. So yeah, I guess that's the way I process with all that.
Yeah, you were talking about the themes there, and that the emotional resonance of it and what you wanted to achieve. And I think we'll definitely get into that because it's fascinating for our listeners, to get movies like this made, to get movies with a story, with a point, with that you're trying to say something that is violent, that is graphic, that is visceral, that makes you feel, think, and is, massively about the beauty industry and aging and death and birth. And it has all these wonderful subject matters that you discuss in the film, and sometimes with no dialogue, which is incredible. The amount of times I thought, did they just cut out? Was it there? And then you just went, oh, we'll just do it with looks. And it's just incredible and powerful and emotional. But I suppose maybe we'll talk about the how you got this film made and the story and the idea and why you wanted to make this. Your debut movie, Revenge, it's similar themes, in terms of, revenge story in itself. And yet here we go further with it as well in terms of revenge on yourself and hating yourself in some way. Talk us through trying to get this made, because I think getting a movie like this made is difficult. It is hard. And it'd be really interesting to know how you went about it in the first place.
Yes, absolutely. I think the story of how this movie got made is really interested and very linked to what the movie is about. Like the movie's, for me, totally linked with revenge in somehow. In Revenge, I was exploring, one element of, how you can be seen, how you can be treated, how you can be considered, depending on how you look, how you behave, how, men can see you, if you're a young, beautiful, sexy woman, and if you then step out of those boxes to please them, like, they can erase you. So it was a first, I would say, kind of feminist thing that I needed to take out of me. But at the time, I didn't know it was feminist. I just, I needed to write that story. And it's really the reception of the movie that made me understood that it was, in fact, feminist. I didn't rationalize it at that time. But after, it impacted me a lot, because of course it was. And that's when I started to think a lot more about what it is that I was feeling, the way I was seeing the world regarding those issues. And when I read so much about, yes, feminist writings, about how the world is organized on a more systemic, level, to have a more global overview and to go deeper into the feminist thinking. And so for Substance, I was really ready to keep expressing what I needed to express in a more articulate way regarding this. It was like now very consciously something that I did wanted to express in a very clear, willing way, because I feel like there is still so much to do regarding those, those matters. And Substance, I think, is about, how I have felt my whole life as a girl, as a little girl, as a teenager, as a woman, like constantly having to worry about my body, constantly having to worry about how it's going to be seen, how it's going to be criticized, how it's going to be fantasized, how it's going to meet the expectations, how it's going to put me in a place in society that's going to value me, or at the contrary, not value me. And all this has a massive impact, I think, about how you take your place or not in the world. I think it's a massive difference still that we live with. And when I had passed my 40s, it was the moment when I started to think about my next project, and I really started to have those violent thoughts about, okay, now my life is going to be over. Like, it's going to be the end for me. I'm not going to be interested. I'm not going to be valued. And I was so amazed by the intensity of those thoughts, about the violence of those thoughts, about the craziness of them, but at the same time, how real they were for me on an emotional level, that I said, okay, I absolutely need to do something with that, because otherwise it's going to crush me. It's going to destroy me. So that's where the big scream on a more, a bigger level, with everything about what I've been through with my body, with the way as a woman your body is sexualized and fantasized and define you in a very, very specific way in our world since the beginning of humanity. I wanted to express all that in the film. And I wanted to do it in a way, and it's meets your first question, that would really, not with words. I'm not writing a book. I'm not writing a feminist manifesto. I'm making a film. So I wanted to make it in a way that the audience would feel it, would experiment it, would have the emotions, have the sensations that will then lead to think about that, that would then lead to open some discussions. That's why I wanted to write the film first, because I knew that the movie was going to go very far, was going to be very needed to be with total creative freedom, because the way I wanted to do it, it's not a normal way. As you say, there is not many dialogues. Everything goes through sound, image, rhythm, framing, the experience that you enter, and that made you go through some scenes that are, not realistic, that go more and more crazy, more and more violence. And this has to be super precisely articulate to work and to, make you cross the different steps that's going to lead toward the ending. So I decided that, because when I start to write, of course, you ask yourself the question of the budget, because you have to be, as a filmmaker, I think that's the way I did my first film. You have to be realistic where you are in your career to know how you're going to make your movie produce, how you're going to produce your film. And for Revenge, I knew that I needed to write a very, very small budget. It's a first film. So, And here, the movie Revenge was very well, there was great reaction. It opened many doors in the United States. So I knew there was there was room for me to be more ambitious, to, think about something that would be bigger, but still that needed to be me. Like, that's the thing, because I knew that the movies I was going to write was not going to be like a totally traditional movie. So I had those two different desires, which was like to make a more ambitious film, because I know that the way I direct, which is super precise, super visual, super technical, takes a lot of time. And if you really want to express what you have in your mind, yes, it costs a certain amount of money that if you don't have it, you can't express it. You can have other ideas, but there is part of it that, you can't do. And for this one, I really wanted to have the possibility to really express myself as a filmmaker and be able to put my vision on screen. And so that's why I took two decisions that I think allowed the movie to be made into that way. First, it would like to produce the film, to co-produce it myself, because I'm very much into knowing what things cost. So knowing that's the decision that you take during the writing. I wanted to do all the prosthetics for real. I wanted to do everything on a practical, level. And I know that this has some consequences on the shooting time, on the, level of prosthetic budget. So it starts to shape the scale of the scale of your film. And also, so it was a way for me to allow to do the right choices for me, because, when you do a film, there are things that matters for you, and it's good to put the money into them. And there are things that are not important, that might be important for the director, like you said, or me. You can leave that on the side. Me, I know that I have a very precise shot list, so I know that if I'm only going to film this, I don't need to build the rest of the walls, yes. So I don't need to spend money building the rest of the walls. Because I know in advance, also because I edit, that I'm going to see that, and the rest I'm not gonna use it. And then it was like, getting to towards the American system for the ambition that it could bring to the film, with the casting, with the financing, but still keeping a very strong foot in Europe. And that's where I decided, to partner with Working Title, who co-produced the film. Because, they have the leverage, like, to get access to a more ambitious budgets, to, facilitate access to a casting process. But they're still very much European there,
How did that sort of conversation work? 'Cause, I mean, Working Title is certainly one of the the biggest companies that so many people in the film world would love to work with, and they've got so much prestige behind them. How is that sort of process of you getting them to board the film?
So in fact, it happened after Revenge, Eric Fellner contacted me because he had loved Revenge. He really wanted to work with me for my second feature. But at the time, I didn't want to commit with anyone. I wanted to, because you can have an idea and you're going to develop it, and in the end, it's not what I want, what I expected. So for me, I wanted to write first and to say, okay, this is what I want to do, and then choose the best partners to do that film. And so during the process of writing, he came back several times, like, hey, how are you? Where are you? He was really extremely motivated that we do something together. And me, at the time, I just needed to stay on my own, finish the writing and keep my total freedom. And after I finished the writing, I met with a few different producers to start having the conversation, and including Working Title. And I remember that the few things that for me made the biggest difference is to feel Eric's motivation to work with me That was, I think, one of the most important thing, because I know that, making a film is hard. I know that this specific movie was going to be hard. It was an ambitious film, not a classical film. The way I work is very demanding. I'm very precise. So so it takes a lot of work to do that. And I knew that I needed someone who would not like give up at the first obstacle, and when you have someone who repeatedly like come and knock at your door and manifest like he's extremely motivated to work with you, this is so valuable. This is so strength.
It's the kind of thing that most filmmakers dream of, Eric Fellner knocking on your door to sort of say, hey, no, send me a script. I really want to work with you. I think the filmmakers listening now will be going, can he knock on my door? So no, Revenge was amazing. So I get that. But yeah, it does. But that's inspiring, because you go, look, you probably had lots of offers at the time, or people were interested, but the fact that he kept knocking on the door, that kind of constant, like you say, someone is going to be on your side a bit here because they really want to work with you, and that's clearly what Eric Fellner brought there from Working Title. That's brilliant.
Yes, and also like I think the biggest conversation that we had that was so important for me was like I needed to do my film, like when you work with the American system, it can be, it's a tricky game, like getting the creative control, protecting your vision. You need to have strong and trustful partner to help you through that. And that's also really what Eric helped me to have. And it was really like something from the start that I discussed immediately with him. Like, to me, making that film was really a vision that I needed to protect, and and he was really the gatekeeper of that. And I think then it was like also navigating with the reality of the process. Once you have a producer, once you have a film, you make a first budget, you knock on all the financier, and then you see the reaction, and like the reaction for this film was not easy. Like, it was like, of course they were interested because people were interested in working with me after Revenge, but no one was like, oh yeah, we're going to give you tons of money to do a story about women like getting crazy and ending in a bath of blood with, crazy things happening. People were basically very scared of the project. They were like, okay, we like her, we think it's interesting, but what the fuck?
What the fuck? How can we make money from this film? How is this going to work? Yeah.
And also it happened during the COVID. I finished writing my script when the COVID happened. So people got very, very scared of everything. It was a time that was tough for movies. So it didn't help people being bold and being risk-taking and being like, willing to try stuff. It was at the contrary. They wanted safe projects. They wanted like,
and this isn't safe. Yeah, this is
exactly
bold.
Exactly. And so basically it was a lot of doors that were stayed closed for a long time for the film, and that's where having strong partners really matter, because yes, they don't give up even when the door closes, and there are times where you think about all the stories. Oh yeah, but this movie, everyone said no to it until it get made, and it became a huge success. Okay, but when you're in the middle of that, like you're just living the tough experience. But then it's like, for me, it's never giving up. Like the way I work, like I'm very monotask. I work at one project at the time, and I invest everything, in it. And so for me, I can't fail. Like it can't not happen because I have no choice. Like basically, I have to. So I think it also gives me such a strong motivation that it has to be done. And in my mind, like, and it's very tough mentally, but in my mind, there is no way that I don't get this movie made. That's my line. That's my state of mind. It doesn't make the process easier, and it's very, very tough when you navigate through the tough waves. But in the end, I think it gives me such a confidence in the fact that it has to be made, it has to be done, that in a way we find a way. That's the but yes, it's a matter of getting all the ingredients you need, going through the process of, okay, like we feel that the market is, ready to give us that amount of budget. So then you need to work with that reality. That's also how I decided to shoot the film in France, because, the way we could organize the production there made that we could have a much lower budget than if we were shooting, elsewhere. Then there is the casting process, that is a big element of helping the movie starting to getting real. But until everything is there, like, everything can unravel very, very quickly. So it's a matter of having your expectations meeting the reality, and having like what reality, how they can help getting your expectations become real in the end. So it's it's a very close work with the producers, with the people you're discussing about how we're gonna make that. And it's feeling that at some point, even if all the perfect stuff that you want are not there, you need to go. You need to make the jump. You need to go there, because there is a schedule, there is a window where everyone is available. And then you need to run. And that's where having great people around you that can give advice at very specific moments, because also when you're a filmmaker, you can be very rational, but you can be very also obsessive, idealistic, Oh, I want something better. And you need to be surrounded by very good people, which at some very key moments can give you key advice or key, things that's going to make the difference to protect the whole thing that you're building. Yes. And yes, and like, I think it's like a marriage. Like, no relationship is perfect. Like, no, there is always good and bad. But I think in the end, what matters is that you have the same intentions, and your foundations are healthy, like you, and here I think that's what happened with the way we did this movie. It was the right ingredients for it to be made. It was totally out of the box, because obviously, like, it was so far away from what Working Title does. Like, they had never done a movie like that. We shot in France, which was also totally new for this type of movie, bringing all the cast and everything. But I think in the end, everyone was trusting what I wanted to do, and gave me the freedom to do it. And to give freedom, there needs to have trust. So, and it's a risk, because, like, until the movie is done, until the movie is screened, you never know what it's gonna be.
You never know what it's gonna be. You never know.
What was the kind of moment when it felt like it went from, I'm battling to get this made, and I'm kind of in the struggle of it, and you don't know how long it's going to take, to then suddenly, okay, this is happening. Like, how did the casts, get involved? Because I mean, that feels like a very big part of it. We also talked about Working Title, which is another sort of key moment.
Yeah, like, definitely, like, having a cast, that that's gonna make the movie real. Also, for people, is of course a big moment. And it was a big, like, of course, like, if you have from the start a huge star, that wants to do the film, everything is going to go quicker. The casting process was very long. We had many, people who turned down the script for many various reasons.
Well, yeah, I mean, because the film is, it's unflinching in its, we see a lot of body, we see a lot of nakedness in the film. We see a lot of emotion, and that it's a tough ask to sort of go, hey, this is the second feature from Coralie. Yeah.
and yes, and you feel that it's a risky project because those type of film, if they're not good, they're awful. Like, when you go with genre and you always go with the limit of the grotesque, of the operatic, and there is a thin line that you have to go but then you can go on the other side of the line when it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, it becomes ridiculous. So it's a very risky, genre film space. So
yes,
and I know that the actors they know that, and and this specifically, this movie, it hits a very vulnerable personal space about what you're gonna say, because of course the movie hits the worst phobia of the actresses that I was gonna go to. So so I knew it was gonna be tough to find the actress who would be ready to go for that part. And I totally understand that many of them were not ready for many different reasons.
Well, Demi Moore is fantastic. Yeah, she's fantastic in the movie. She gives everything. It's just a beautiful performance that you've created there as well, which is incredible. So what was that first conversation like when she said, "Look, I'm interested, however"? How did you tackle that?
I mean, the thing is, there was a moment where she read the script, she really liked it, and I think the first conversation that we had for me were to discuss everything at length from the start. I needed me to explain to her everything I wanted to do, and she felt it immediately on the page, that the fact that the movie was a vision, that it was very specifically conceived, it was working on many different levels that were intricate together, and that if she was coming on board, she had to understand everything else around to know that everything is linked together, and that if you change one element, it unravels the rest. So it was also to express why I needed and the film needed everything that is on screen, like the level of excess, the level of craziness, the level of nudity, because nudity for me was a very important tool to tell that story. And each shot had a meaning, and I explained her each shot, why I needed it, what it was meaning, because I wanted her to understand and to feel at ease with that. Otherwise, it's not going to work, it has to come from a place where the actor feels that is confident that it means something, that it's something that he can, identify with. Also, the level of the prosthetics, it was going to be 7 hours in the chairs for the biggest makeup. So it was going to also imply that we were going to shoot not in orders, that we had to mix a lot of different techniques. It was also coming to France for, more than 5 months. We were shooting more than 100 days with not a huge Hollywood production, that she was probably used back in the day. So, I wanted to be sure that she was really ready to take all those risks, because I wanted to be sure that the actor who would come on board would do it for the right reason, would do it because she was prepared to take the risk, to do the jump, because I knew doing that film was going to be tough. That it's very risk-taking, challenging. So the trust basis, the trust foundation has to be very strong. It has to be coming from a place that is very solid, because there are going to be bad days, there are going to be doubts, there are going to be moments where you're tired, there are going to be moments where, oh no, you don't understand, and so you have to have the level of the first conversations that solidify what's the project, why you want to do it, and the fact that at some point you have to trust where the film and the filmmaking is gonna take you. And to me, that were the most important conversations that we had, because I needed to to feel that Demi understood and had with her all the elements that would allow that decision, to know that, yes, there is a blob at the end which is going to decompose. Yes, there is all this nudity. Yes, there is all this crazy food and, and stuff. And it was not going to go lower. It had to be at that level of intensity. Everything was written very, very precisely on the page. So, she could see that very precisely. So those conversations for me were the foundation that made me understand that, yes, she was ready to do that film for the right reasons and willing to take the risk, because I got to know her better. I read her book and I understood that she, in fact, never had a very classical past. She always took risk in her life. She always kind of went on some places where she was not expected, took risk with her body. And so, yeah, it made me understand that she had a very rock and roll, kind of state of mind. And she was a free spirit that was thinking a lot out of the box. And that she had what was needed to, bear the level of risk that the project needed. And so, yeah, to me, that where, all the most important conversation happened. It was like beforehand. On set, then it was just getting there, just getting to the intensity that each scene needed, the right level, not too much, not too little, and just achieving, the right line for each scene, because each scene has to be the right balance for the moment in the script.
Well, how did you sort of work between the two actresses and the second casting of Margot, and also just how they worked? So, I mean, did you introduce them much in advance? Were they allowed to get to know each other, or did you sort of keep them a little bit more separate? Like, how was that kind of collaboration?
So I wanted to rather keep them more separate. I didn't want her to meet too much before the shooting, because for me it was important to kind of keep the process of the discovery while we were filming. I kind of like the idea that it's a new body, it's a new person that shapes from you, but that you don't really know yet. And there is this kind of discovery of your other self that is you, but there is a different expression of you, because as soon as you have a new body, you have a new experience of the world. You feel the world differently, you think differently. All your relationship with the world is new, is different. So there is really a new self that, has a new conscious, because it experiments the world in a different way. And I love the idea to kind of get that on screen while we were filming it, because it was not at all about getting them to have the same mimicking or, do stuff where they would be alike. At the contrary, it was for me more having a reincarnation, or someone that's gonna be you, but kind of separate. And so I like the idea that they were connected, but there was also this kind of newness that they had to get to tame little by little, and then fall apart, little by little, and separate them. And so, of course, like they met a few times in prep before we start shooting. But for me, like, it was important to keep the prep process pretty much separate, so they would have most of the time together when we would shoot. And also, like, our schedule was so intense in prep that we didn't have much time, to do anything else. And so the real moments when they first started to really shoot together and get to be together was for the birth sequence. So, and I think it created something very strong, very awkward, very, in sync with what the scene is about, with the visceral, feeling to have this new relationship with your body, and also have the way you discover another body, the way you touch it, the way you have to, sew it, the way you look at it. And I think this scene is so important in the script. And I think it got infused of the fact that it was, yes, a very important scene. It was one that we shot almost at the beginning of the shooting. It had the nudity, so we had very limited sets. So it was very intense for everyone, for me, for the actors, for the crew. And I think something very specific was created there. We could feel that all the elements were creating something very special and very deeply invested of many, many things. And for them too, of course, the fact that they were, discovering this relationship with their bodies, like having those bodies on the tiles, having, how you discover another, another you. So I think all this kind of transmitted into that scene too. And the more we shot, which was kind of in sync with the movie, like the more they got to know each other. And so it goes quite well with the fact that, they become like
one
more and more like roommates that you start to hate and that you want, and it was going with the tiredness of the shoot. Like it was very, very long. So at the end, like, everyone relaxed and everyone is more like, at ease. And so for the crazy scenes, for the fights, for everything, it helped also a lot that there was this kind of, okay, now we are all, together. We've been like more than 60 days in that apartment. Like, yes, we can go crazy. And I think that's also where Margaret could liberate the kind of crazy violence that she had inside of her, to want to kick, to kick everything. And I love those moments where the life of the shooting, the way you get to be all together as a team, as a human relationship, helps you in the energy that you need for the scenes.
Yes, that energy is so important as a director to sort of hang on to, as well as getting your team and crew. And I love the fact that you shot those scenes early, the nudity scenes and the first scenes, the birth scenes, if you like. I'd love to talk about your color palette and your tone and your themes, because there was some amazing like lens choices, big fisheye sort of lens choices enveloping the world. And there was also moments where the actors or the characters were pretty much looking down the lens, looking at you. And you had these beautiful big wides and these long, weird corridors, like the shining carpet almost there, and this beautiful world you'd created that felt real but also not real. There wasn't many extras, if you like. It was kind of dark and mysterious and wonderful. Can you talk about when you're talking to your crew and your team and your production designer about that and what you're looking for and asking for? Because it seems like you totally understand your subject matter and your script, and you've really got to terms with how you're going to shoot it and what you want, your shot list. I'd love to know about the production design side as well.
Yeah, those choices were from the script very important ones, which was the idea of not having the real Hollywood, but rather a symbolical world that will represent ideas. So everything was about getting to the symbolic importance of the locations and not taking into account the reality, the realism, which was not at all what I was interested about. But I was interested about having location that gives you emotions, that's going to transmit ideas. So because I wanted the world to be symbolical of what I wanted to tell. So it could embody everything, that can happen everywhere. So that was creating and looking for locations and building them that they would have the symbols that I needed. And yes, the corridors with this perspective is like a mental space. I would say the locations are kind of mental space, like the corridor with this perspective, of having kind of your life ahead. And when you're at the beginning of the corridor, you start your life. When you at the end of the corridor, your life is finished. And it's this kind of, oppressive world of the TV show, which represents like the domination, like which represents the thing that define your life. The bathroom, which is very inner chamber, mental state, the transformation of the metamorphosis where everything happened, which is this kind of white, with no furniture at all.
Stark.
I remember the production designer, when we finished the bathroom, was telling me, but you're sure you don't want any furniture in there?
Yeah, nothing else.
No, it's perfect.
It's perfect. Yeah,
Exactly. And for the apartment, it was mixing a sensation of timeless feeling, things from the past, things from the present, the future, using all the symbolic elements of the outside, like just the palm tree, the blue sky, that gives this idea of, okay, it's shine, it's the world of beauty, famous, dreams, and you don't need to see the real LA for that. You just need a blue sky, blue palm tree, and it says it all. And so it was many discussions to make all the head departments understand that what was important for the movie was not the reality, but was the world of the substance. It had to be the world of the substance. And the most difficult is to transmit the world that you have in your brain, which is the world of the substance, to your head of department, so they can really understand what's important for you and transmit it in the best way. And that's how everything took shape, with the use of those colors, which are also symbols in themselves. And all these go little by little, details by details. And at first, there is only you that has all those images in your head. And little by little, you transmit them to like the head of departments, who can help then build, what you have in your mind, and kind of understanding this mental way of working on the location, which is exactly what was the case here.
I think we've got to wrap up here. Do you have a last 10-second bit of advice for maybe your younger self trying to make it in the industry you can just leave us with?
I would say, like, really trust yourself, like trust what you want to do. Don't try to do something else to please the system. Just try to find a way to make who you are happen. And it's steps, like sometimes you have to navigate against a lot of obstacles. But the only person that can really succeed is you, and there is no better version of yourself than you and yourself. And it's just find the right way for you to make fun and to get there. So to keep the face.
Amazing.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time. The substance is amazing. This fear-inducing, wonderful world. So thank you so much.
So much.
Take care. Good luck with everything.
Goodbye and au revoir.
Bye. Au revoir. Bye.
Bye. What a chat. She is a powerhouse. She was so open to chatting, or just chatting, really, about how she makes her films. It was fascinating. Me and Dom were just listening away to her. Just wonderful. And a huge shout out to Tolly Shields for setting this up for us. Thank you. And along with DDAPR. What a film. What a film. What a filmmaker. Really interesting. You saw this way before me. You saw this was it in Cannes in May?
No, it was a BAFTA screening, and it was a very intense experience, like with the full sort of Dolby surround sound. It definitely caught a lot of people off guard, for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine it did. I imagine you were sat in that cinema, just everyone's, because if you don't know what you're expecting, I did. You prepped me.
It's a proper onslaught at the end.
Yeah, I loved it though.
Yeah,
I love that. Coming from the sort of, with my first film, The Dare that I made, there's so much going on with that in terms of, not body horror, but there's things that happen to the people in the basement, and
not fun things.
Lots of things. And this goes further. This goes, wow. It's a brilliant movie. I really, the fact that what it plays with as well. It's unsettling. It explores themes of aging, beauty standards in the world, identity. and that ambition and you know, and all that within the film industry or the entertainment industry, really. I thought that was just such an interesting take on it. And I really thought the actresses went there so hard. It was just like, wow, it was all on show.
Yeah.
It was just like the performance, how they were there. Everything was just, it felt like it was, everything released. It was incredible.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It was just Demi Moore and more. And more.
And we couldn't have wanted more. It was brilliant performance by her.
I know.
And she's...
No, it was. I mean, they were both absolutely fantastic. And I really liked the... I loved the speech that she did at the Golden Globes as well about, you know, some producer saying that she'd only be a popcorn actress for like the rest of her, you know, for however 25 years or something. And then, you know, this is her kind of first major award, really. People should never tell you what you can and can't do and, you know, peg you in a hole. Or I think that there's a lot to be learned from that.
Yeah, I really agree, because it's the same as a producer, director, writer. People want to peg you, put you in a hole and say, no. That's because last week our film term of the week was peg.
Pegging.
Pegging. But it's true. People do want to. They don't want to peg you, but they want to put you in a corner and say, "This is your. You know, you've made horrors, therefore you should keep making horrors. You've made thrillers. Comedies. You should stay in this box." And I disagree with that massively. You should make what you want to make and what story you want to tell.
Yeah,
that makes you feel like the artist you are. Otherwise, it's just, you know, you're just doing what other people tell you should do.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like it's a bit insulting, really, to filmmakers just to pretend that they have one idea that fits into like one genre. Like, and there's different genres have different things to say, and there's such a variety that, you know, and also people with different points in people's lives, and you know, it's a very narrow-minded way to sort of look at things, and you should always be open to trying something new. And you know, this one came along, and it's also a good you know, sort of example of someone getting like a very major actor on board their film. And you know, Demi was just really, really like game for this. And having someone like her on board really helps the film. But also, like, actually, one more thing I just remembered from the episode, you know, having someone that actually is willing to go out on a limb and actually just look after your career and like be interested in what you're doing and trying to collaborate with you. Because I mean, in this one, like, you know, Coralie had a major production company, you know, in her corner. Yeah. From early on, like looking to, you know, find something to collaborate. Having someone like that actually, you know, sort of believes in you, I think that's just such a powerful thing. And you know, I don't think a lot of people realize that without someone in your corner, it's very hard to do anything. Like very hard.
Anything. It is.
But having someone, it just, you know, even just to get your stuff read or looked at, it makes a massive difference. So, be like him.
Yeah, be like him. Which brings us nicely on to our question of the week, which is
pegging.
Oscar is, if you don't know what pegging is, don't look it up. Yeah, that's not.
I think maybe we should probably remove all the pegging references.
It's too late now. I haven't got time to edit this. You've said it. Is horror Oscar worthy? Has horror turned the corner? We've always loved horror. Horror's always been award-winning. You know, definitely you could go back to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or The Shining. They're horror.
See, this is the thing. Like, I think the biggest thing is actually the misconception of the genre, because I would always put something like that as actually more like psychological thriller, although it is technically in the horror camp.
But things have changed now. Like, but back then it was horror, and people didn't want those films to win awards or Seven or Silence of the Lambs. You know, they're horrors, but they're also but they're actually like thrillers.
I feel like they're psychological thrillers as well.
They are now. But back then, there was a very smaller box. It was literally like 4, you know, that's it. You're either a thriller, horror, comedy, or an action, you know, pretty much.
Yeah.
Now it's changed. You've got all these subgenres. And like, this is a body horror. It's literally labeled as a body horror. This would never have got by, 20, 30 years ago. It would have been a B movie, and I love the fact that it's changed. I love the fact that there's not just this, the Heretic. Look at that, how well that's doing.
I was going to say, I mean, that's another sort of, great example.
It's not horror, is it? It's not out and out, oh my God, Jason chasing Freddy down the corridor, slasher.
It's a smart psychological thriller with a little bit, it's like a dose of horror.
But it's wonderful. And I think it's great that films like this are now Oscar worthy. And I'd be really surprised if Demi doesn't win for it. She's certainly going to get nominated.
I'm sure she will win more.
I think that's great. And I think, therefore, horror filmmakers out there, you don't let anyone stop you or tell you can't make it like this, or you can't do it like this, or it's not going to win awards. Absolute bullshit, And again, this film isn't, we're saying it's literally labeled as a body horror, but it's also huge social commentary. Huge social commentary.
It really comes down to what your film actually is trying to say. And whether it's just kind of gratuitous violence without anything behind it, or whether there's like something, deep and meaningful and thoughtful in that. And, genre is just a container for your storytelling abilities.
So I suppose the answer is yes. Is horror Oscar worthy? And the answer is
it can
resounding.
Yeah, it can be.
Yes.
I think I don't think it's down to genre. I think it's down to what you said about, whether it has social commentary or whether it does something that makes you, think and feel. Those are the two things I think, regardless of any genre and everything, if it ticks those boxes, should have a shot.
Yeah, and it's definitely worth noting here, going back a little bit, Black Swan, which you could definitely put into that psychological thriller, but there's strong horror elements. And the big one, I suppose, in the last 10 years is Get Out. You definitely
Paddington.
Put that in the horror category. That would be played at Fright Fest.
Definitely Paddington.
It is. Yeah, it's definitely a thriller. What did you say?
Definitely Paddington.
And Paddington Bear. Paddington Peru.
Bear.
Frightening.
Yeah.
It's frightening. He swings
Terrifying.
around all over the place. Terrifying.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How do you wash that bear?
Right out of my hair.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I think he's barely legal.
Maybe get rid of that one.
I know. It's too late. I haven't got time to edit.
These jokes are threadbare now.
So yes, basically the answer is yes, it is Oscar worthy. Brilliant. Good. We've all learned something today. Moving on to our film term of the week. This is exciting. What do you think it is, Dom? Have you got one for me?
I haven't. No, never do.
Great.
Zero research. Just turn up. Get the bloody thing done.
Get the awards and the charm. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Primo Host Award.
Yeah, Primo Host Award. Yes, well, to be fair, you are talking to the host of the most listened to episode of the Filmmakers Podcast, 2024 season.
I was also there.
Were you?
Was I not?
No, you were. Because I remember the hotel. It was the Soho Hotel. It was Will
episode?
from Organic, and it was the three dudes from The Killer. And I think you probably joined me for the intro.
Yeah,
we always do the intro.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh well done you.
Yeah. I felt like you meant that.
I fully meant that.
What's the film term, Giles?
Give me a sec. I'm trying to find one. So last week we had a C-47, which is a closed peg or a closed pin.
Stinger.
We didn't do Stinger.
No.
But now you're going to have to tell people what it is.
Oh, actually.
But what's Stinger? You can't throw in Stinger and then just drop it.
All right. Well, what do you think Stinger is then, Giles?
It's a fancy way of saying extension cord, isn't it?
Oh. Oh, we're not doing Stinger because you guessed it. Right.
Makes it
no fun.
I thought that was this game.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to win.
Of course I am. If you get this right, you win. Right, see if you can get
You
this.
always come up with like really obscure ones when it's your turn.
So was Stinger if you didn't know it.
It's a completely unfair game. Completely unfair game.
It's not a game. There's no point.
Just because you're an Alan Partridge type guy that likes having neat cables locked around.
when we do a quiz, Dom, I haven't done purchase for a while. I don't know if I'm any good anymore.
Yes.
So, the film term of the week is brick.
Okay.
Do you know what brick is on a film set? Film set term.
It's a very important part of a builder's repertoire because some
Correct.
builders enjoy using concrete. Some in this eco age,
I'll stop you there. I'll stop you there.
Enjoy the use of wood. But
this is great. But no, on a film set, Dom. I mean, yes, you could use bricks on a film set, actual bricks. But in this case,
as
it's
crowd
not.
control.
It's something that you would wear on your belt. Well, it's
okay.
not
Is it
technically.
walkie-talkies?
It's walkie-talkie based, yeah. It's to do with a battery. So it'd be a battery on a walkie-talkie. And if someone say, hey, have you got a spare brick? And it's basically the battery of a walkie-talkie.
And if you're a builder, you got one.
There you go. So there you go. That was our film term of the week. Quite a good one. You're learning stuff as we go along. And Dom, you got one right. So
yes.
If you don't want to do a point system, then today's obviously the day not to do it because you got a point today. So do you want to do a point system or not?
Starting today, yes.
Starting today. Okay, so I've got 3. You've got 1 starting today.
Well, starting 3 were before the rule changes in the rating system, so they don't count.
Yeah, no, and you can change the rules whenever you like. Whenever you like. Next week, I don't know what episode is next Tuesday, but episodes we've got coming up are Unstoppable with Jennifer Lopez, which Dom did. We Live in Time, which Dom did. And then I'm going to tell you, well, the one is coming up is William Tell, Nick Ham. We are recording with him tomorrow. I'm very much looking forward to that. The film Tell, or William Tell, is brilliant.
I've got so many Tell puns, but I want to save them for that episode. So you're not going to get any.
Really?
Yeah.
I know, maybe just get them all out of the way now. Just so we don't embarrass him.
No.
Because he won't have heard any of them.
I'm going to save it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can tell me.
No. I'm not a tattletale.
Oh, you missed that pun.
Tattletale.
See, you can't help it. You couldn't help yourself doing one. We've also got The Brutalist, which won awards last night for Brady Corbett, who is the director of that movie. He is on the episode coming up soon, as is Guy Pearce. How exciting to have both those.
Can't believe I missed that one.
And the production designer. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. And then we've got loads more as well. So, yeah, that's for you. Wait,
we do have quite a lot to announce.
Very exciting stuff. And if you want me to do an episode on how I made Food for Thought, my documentary, which is premiering on the 24th in London, do come along. Link is in the show notes. Then shout out. Say you know. We want to know how you raised the money and you managed to make a documentary in 5 years. Because that's how long it took. It took a long time.
Yeah. I remember going down to Richmond Park.
Oh, you did. Yeah. You filmed the crowdfunder for us, didn't you?
Yeah.
So that was like 5 years ago. We did a crowdfunder for it.
Yeah.
Raised a nice amount of money for us to go and make it, but
at least £200. Yeah.
At least £200, which is, to be honest, the cost of my train ticket to Richmond. So all is good. Right, we will see
that Southeastern Trains or whoever.
Yeah, take that Southeast London. We will see you next Tuesday, as always. Thank you so much for listening. Go watch The Substance wherever you can. You're in for a treat. Don't go into it knowing too much if you can. Obviously, Coralie's probably ruined that for you by now. But if not, if you're still thinking, I can't wait to see that, it's going to be fun. It really is. It's a treat. Thank you, Dom.
Thank you, Giles.
If you're lucky enough to rise up and do well, it is your duty to.
Oh, hang on.
Are you going to do it in French?
Yeah, I'm going to hang on. Send the elevator back down, right?
I believe so. I mean, I've said it 443 times.
Okay. Renvoyer l'ascenseur. There we go.
I mean, your French teacher will be so proud.
Hang on, let me see how it's actually pronounced. Renvoyer l'ascenseur. There we go.
Very good. I would like comments, please. How was Dom's French? We would
not from you, Coralie.
Go out there and make your films.
You can tell Giles about his Fargeat.
It's 2025. Go out there and make your films. Make your TV shows. Make your online dramas. Whatever the hell you're going to do. Make your body horrors.
Make your Lego set.
Believe in yourself. Dom, go finish it. Believe in yourself and make it happen for you this year.
Yeah.
It's your year. Also, we're looking for indie films this year to come on the podcast. Filmmakers who've gone out there and made their films and managed to get it out there, which is an incredible feat in itself.
Just not in awards.
Yes, just not in award season when we're really busy. But we want to hear from you. So if you're an indie filmmaker, you've made your film, you've released it in 2025, or about to, give us a shout. And let's program in a time.
In the months of April
you.
and September.
There you go. You heard it from the Primo host. No, say goodbye in French.
Oh, okay. Au revoir.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Coralie Fargeat.